Welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Stuart.
And I'm Amy, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This week we're talking PBBS, some excellent t-shirt alternatives, badly behaved crew, and the fact Stu is now one of the greatest runners of his time.
Thanks for writing that introduction,
I didn't write that.
Amy. That was really kind of you to write that. I really appreciate you saying that. We will get into that later, obviously, because I love to talk about myself. First of all, you know I love running clubs, all right? I need to preface this quite strongly. I'm a big advocate of running clubs. I bang on about them all the time. I've worked with them. I'm trying to get loads of clubs together to do stuff together. A lot of sense of community, a lot of competition. All that thing is great, but might offend a few people. What I've never liked is self-deprecating club names. And these are things like plodders, joggers. I've even seen limpers, shufflers, and what I saw the other day, huffers and puffers.
Oh no, you don't want to put...
Like town name, huffers and puffers.
You don't want to call yourself puffers, do you?
No, I don't think. I don't. I know people they say, I'm not a runner. I don't run fast. We don't want to do races. We don't want to do running. We're just jogging. But I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like it puts you down from the outset. And also, you are going to be faster than someone else, and they're going to get overtaken, and they're going to see someone with joggers or shufflers on the back, and they're going to feel even bloody worse about themselves. I'm sure all these clubs are full of fine people. I'm sure they're good people. I'm sure they're good clubs. It's just my thing. I don't think I could join a club. If I moved to a new place, that was the only club there, I'd have a hard time joining that one.
Yeah, I get it from a accessibility thing, we're super accessible. So, because some clubs, you don't know that the minimum is 9-minute miles until you actually join them and find out. So it's very clear from the outset, we're going to be slower.
But if I go to the Huffers and Puffers, if I'm running 8.5-minute miles, are they going to kick me out for being too quick?
They could do, but also I just think it's I don't know, why do you have to be so self-deprecating in the name? Call it a nice name. And then just make it really, really obvious that you're inclusive and list what paces you do runs at, whatever. But the self-deprecating names kind of makes me cringe a bit as well.
So see, I thought you just wouldn't care about this at all and you'd be fully in favour. So I'm glad for a change you're on my side about one of these things. And I have seen my least favourite ever club name this week. And I apologise to this run club. But I saw someone a few weeks ago from Hogweed Trotters. I mean, what is that?
It's like Harry Potter. It's like a Quidditch team.
Can you imagine supporting them, being on the side of the road, being like, "Come on, Hogweed! Yes, Hogweed!" It's not gonna. I don't understand. How can you can't cheer that? And this Hogweed trotter in particular, he was in his 60s and he ran a 1951 5k. That is not trotting.
No, that's like a gallop.
That is a Hogweed galloper.
Yeah.
I don't know what Hogweed, because as far as I think they're from Chipping Sodbury, and I don't think there's a place called Hogweed. I had a quick look on the map. I saw the park they're based in. I can't see any references to Hogweed. Perhaps they've just got a real, agricultural problem around there. I'm not sure, but I apologise to the Hogweed Trotters, but
See, I'm in favour of that. I love a whimsical club name. The Hogweed Trotters.
There may well be a great story behind it, and I hope there is, but I just felt it was just a very strange club name that I've never seen before, and I just can't imagine shouting that aside, because I love being at the side of the road and just shouting club names as they come past. I find that very enjoyable. But come on, Hogweed. It's weird.
I love it. Well, speaking of self-deprecating, slow, blah, blah, blah. I'm a member of a Facebook group.
I love the way we do segues now. We're just whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You've all been listening. You know what path I'm going down with this. I'm part of a Facebook group called Slow AF Runners. I can't remember. I say I can't remember why I joined it. I joined it because I'm a slow runner, but I can't. I don't know how I found myself in this group. Anyway, this group is amazing. The drama. So there's two different strands of drama. The second one more relevant, but the first strand is because it's a lot of Americans in this group. So there was this whole debate a few weeks ago about people thanking Jesus and God in their Strava descriptions, where they put So they post a screenshot to the group of their Strava, like a lot of people do, and say, "Oh, I went out for this run, blah blah blah." And people post supportive things, but in these descriptions, some of them, it was like, "Oh, and thank you to God, and thank you to Jesus, and not just thank you." It was like some like, "Who is the way?" And I'm not religious, so I don't know. You know, they're like, "He's the way, and He's the truth." And then there'd be like a Bible verse, like John 18:10. That's probably awful. I probably quoted something that says like, "Go out and kill children" or something. There's lots of messed up things in the Bible.
Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant, cutting off his right ear.
No, so, that's badass.
That's very cool. Cut off an ear. That's quite skillful.
Oh yeah, the Bible's full of anyway. So there was these things, and then they post that in the description. That
was from memory, by the way.
Yeah. They post that in the description on Strava, and then also in the group they do this little spiel about, you know what, especially Americans. Sorry, Americans listening, but you know that whole like, oh, this was a glorious day, just you know, and then also, and I thank Jesus and God and all this. So that then started a debate about whether that's okay, and we don't want to see your Jesus post and your religious post. And somebody said, well, why can't I post my religious post? It's like this whole debate, and then people were posting things like, I thank no one for this run, I don't believe in any, this is all me and my work. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know. So this whole debate, I thought it was so bizarre, and you couldn't really imagine that on a UK based
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think this is reasonably common in America, but for British people it makes us very uncomfortable, and people are very overtly religious, because people generally aren't like that here. There obviously are people, but in general, when someone on TV, a sports person, gets interviewed and they bring up God, it's like, oh, that's a bit of a surprise. But like Americans, you kind of guess they're going to do it. And
it was so overt, because you know when it sounds really bad, it's because I'm really sorry, I mean, it's because I'm not a Christian, but you know when like it's so like the stuff they're saying, it's only if you're a big fan, it's only if you're a big fan of God you're going to get it. Those who know. So like everyone else, these posts would go, they'd be saying like random stuff. I'm like, what does that mean? It's obviously some scripture or something that Christians know about. So yeah,
YK.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's not just thanks God for today. I could understand if somebody posted like, thank you God, thank you Jesus for being able to run. It was just like paragraphs of it. So that was that's debate. The second debate, which is even better and harks back to what we were talking about before, is when do you become too fast that you have to leave the slow AF runners? So people, mainly men as well, because obviously sometimes men can just naturally run a bit faster than women. So, you know, it's so some men were running faster times than women, which sort of makes sense. So some of these men were coming on and they were posting their runs, and they'd be running like 8-minute, 9-minute miles for like, you know, a half marathon or whatever. And people in the comments would go nuts. Like, that, you are not a slow AF runner. This is the wrong group. You're making us feel bad and all of this. So a splinter group started called Actually Slow AF Runners. And then there was a debate about how slow do you have to be, or rather, what's the cutoff? At what point are you too fast for the actual slow AF runners? Like, what is the actual cutoff?
Oh, this is such a pointless debate of trying to put a number on it.
I know, and it's
horrible.
Like, who cares? It's just a Facebook group. You're not trying to qualify for anything with like times or slow times or whatever. But yeah, so that I love the Facebook group. I always go and check, and then of course, because it's American as well, one thing I love about American Facebook groups is the gun thing comes up a lot. So every few months they'll be like, what's the best gun to run with? Like, how can I hold my, like, what's the best, like, holster, that's the word. Don't even know the word for it. What's the best holster for carrying my gun? And then you get people from like Europe and Australia being like, whoa, that's crazy. And then people arguing in the comments like, wow, you must carry a knife when you run because I hear knife crimes. You know, it becomes like a whole thing. But yeah, I love it. I love American Facebook groups. We've got Jesus, we've got guns, we've got like, you can't participate because you're too fast. Love it.
It's amazing. So in the first 10 minutes, we've offended a load of run clubs, all the Christians, the gun lobby, and people who are too fast, and potentially people who are too slow.
Yeah.
Amazing. What a great start. Opinions wanted on all of these things, please. That would be good, maybe. Don't forget, we have tubes for your neck that have multiple functions. Just don't call them buffs, or they might threaten to sue you like they did our supplier. Just email us, runningisbull@gmail.com, and you'll get a payment link. And for just £9, which is a bargain, that's including postage, one will be sent to you, and then we'll use any photos you send us as marketing for ourselves. That's the deal. That's how it works. I put a load of them in the post just the other week. Really annoyed the woman at the post office. So please send me more and ruin her day a little bit more by giving her 20 packages to deal with and counting out each stamp one at a time. That was really, really fun.
Standard. People at the post office just hate being asked to post things.
Oh, God, it's the worst.
And on to our tea update.
Ooh.
So we've partnered with Bird and Blend Tea, which means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. And if you like the sound of that, you can go to runningitsbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy some tea if you would like to. Stuart, what are you drinking?
As is traditional, I have finished my tea already because Amy was 20 minutes late to recording again. But what I did have was some maple bacon pancake tea, which is one of those teas that is no use to you if you're listening to this when it comes out, because it's probably only going to be available in spring. But what I can recommend, as I have many times before, is the sticky chai, which I took over to Liz and Dewey, who are both supporters of this podcast. We met up the other day to do some very boring club admin stuff. And I said, I'll bring the tea. I brought 6 teas, and Liz was well into the sticky chai tea. This was the chocolate digestive sticky chai in particular, which is all kinds of good. I was getting her to sniff my jar. And Dewey also very much enjoyed the fairy dust tea, which is like a green tea with a load of fruit and rose and all that kind of stuff in as well. So that's what I'm recommending.
Fairy dust makes an amazing cold brew with lemonade.
Ooh,
I've said this before, but definitely worth
It's a very
doing.
fragrant one.
It's very nice.
How about you?
I've got a punishment tea today.
Oh, no. What
Today's
have you
a
done?
punishment. Well, I don't know what I've done. I'll think of something. But basically, I'm using up the last of my Advent calendar matcha. I've still got Advent calendar matcha 6 months later. I don't know how long it lasts, what the sell-by date is, but I probably need to use it up. So I've got carrot cake matcha. I'm not a fan. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Bird and Blend, if you're listening. I'm not going to say this smells like cat piss or whatever. It's not that. It's not that. It's just not my sort of thing. So it's like I like spicy teas, like with spice in them, but matcha I'm not a fan of. So this is like a matcha that's kind of a bit spicy, like cinnamony, and I'm just not a fan of that sort of matcha. But it's okay. It's drinkable. I'm drinking it. It's my punishment for today to atone for my sins for taking the piss out of people that post about Jesus on Strava, I guess.
Another solid recommendation. What have you been up to, Amy?
Not much. I haven't really been up to that much, really. I've been just
Cool.
doing my sessions, doing my runs. I've actually been doing really well. Like, it's
Amy
crazy.
doing progression runs, all kinds
my
of weird
God.
shit.
Oh my God, I nailed the progression run. So I've been doing different workouts, not just going and running for hours.
It's weird, isn't it?
You know, I've been actually doing workouts. So I've been doing hills, love hill workouts. Intervals, really like intervals, find intervals really fun because I get to have a little walk at the end of each one.
Yeah,
Fartleks, I can't fucking do. I've had several fartlek sessions now and I just can't do them. I don't know why. I nearly cried last week. I was walking home going to Freya. I rang Freya and I was like, I can't do this. I'm shit. Like, I just can't. The fartlek sessions literally make me cry because they make me feel like the most unfit person in the world that can't do anything. I don't know what it is about them. But yeah, I did a progression run last Friday. It was 5 miles and I fucking nailed it, man. Like, I think I got like a minute or so faster each time.
Nice.
Minute mile faster each time. And if you look at like the graph, it's perfect. You can just see the progression. It's like bang on, spot on. So yeah, actually doing
Amy
sessions.
Genders gloating about her progression run
I
and
know.
saying how much she loves hill sessions. Who would have thought
I
that?
know, it's crazy because I can actually as well. The fun thing is, it's not a mystery how long I'm going to be out the house. I don't go out and think, oh, I'm just going to go and see where I go and get lost a bit. I'm going to do 7 miles, but who knows how long that 7 miles will take because who knows where I'm going and what I'm going to do and how much I'll walk and dilly-dally. Whereas now, I have on my watch, oh, I've got this workout and it's going to take you 50 minutes because you know you've got to do this much time doing this and this much time doing that. Like, it's lovely. Or I've got like a long run. It's like, okay, you're going to be out of the house for 2.5 hours. Perfect.
As long as you don't get lost.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't gotten lost yet because I know that Gemma will tell me off. I stopped at one point. What did I stop? I stopped on one of my long runs. I can't remember what I was doing. And I felt like really worried that Gemma was going to tell me off because I went like, oh, that was it. No, it was when I was in Leicester. I went for a run and I didn't know the trails and the trail took me a bit longer than what I was meant to do. So I like anxiously put on Training Peaks to Gemma. I'm really sorry it took me longer. I promised my heart rate wasn't very high. It was fine. It was very relaxed.
God, she's a slave driver. She sounds nasty.
I know. No, it's good because I will just go and run. So it's quite nice for Gemma to say, Amy, do not run for more than 2.5 hours, you know?
Yes.
Then the other thing I've been doing the last few weeks is I've incorporated a new form of cross training.
Oh, what?
I know. I have returned.
What has happened?
I've made a triumphant return to bouldering. So
Have you been inspired by the Olympics?
I don't know. I haven't actually because I missed all that. But I went bouldering. I went with a friend because it was just like a thing to go out and try. I went with Freya as well. Freya is naturally amazing at bouldering. She's just up the wall. She's just up the wall and just like, yeah, this is fine, this is easy. Saying to me like, why can't you do it? Just go up the wall.
Must be you driving her up there.
I know.
Hey. You know how women be all.
I know. You know how they be. But yeah, so I probably told this story before. I went bouldering, gosh, it was probably 6 years ago now, but it's stuck in my head. I went to one of those like try a bouldering session. For those, I guess most people know about bouldering. Bouldering is like rock climbing, but you're indoor rock climbing, but you're not attached to a rope. It's like the walls are like, how high would you say they are? Like 5 meters max or something like that. They're not like super high. It can still bloody hurt if you fall off them, but it's relatively safe. Lots of padding on the floor, so that's what it is. And I went like 6 years ago with a friend, like a bouldering session, and this guy was like showing us around the place, but he just put loads of pressure on me to go up the tallest fucking wall in the place. And I was so scared, and I was like, no, because I was like getting really... When you're going up, it's like quite scary, you know? Because there's nothing... If you fell, even though there's padding, if you fell, it would probably hurt a little bit. So it's quite scary. First time there, he's making me go to the top of the tallest fucking wall. And this wall, you go up to the top, and then you climb on top of the wall. And he went up first, and he's like, come on. And I'm like climbing up, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I need to go back down. He's like, no, you can do this. Carry on. I got to the top and he was trying to pull me up. He had my arm. He was holding my arm, trying to pull me up, and I'm sweating. I am sweating. I swear to God, it was like the scene from The Lion King. I could feel myself slipping because I am terrified, sweating, shaking. He's like, come on, just lift your legs up. I'm like, no. And I just fall backwards off the tallest wall in the place. I just fall backwards, bang, on the floor, like super loud. Everyone like rushes over to me. Like, it's so embarrassing. Are you okay? Didn't go back bouldering since. Thought it's been 6 years. I decided I'm not going to do the fucking have a go things. I don't want anyone telling me how far I'm going to go. If I only go like a little way, that's fine.
Just a bit climbing. How hard can it be?
Yeah, exactly. So I went myself. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I just joined up. I just joined the bouldering gym. I'm like, yeah, sign me up to a monthly pass.
Nice.
And I will recommend it. It's really, really good. And if you do it properly, your legs should be really involved. Often you can like over rely on your arms and stuff, but it's like a proper
no.
Yeah, it's like a proper full body workout, and it's really good fun. And the thing is as well is you, even if like me, you're a bit scared of heights, which I'm like slowly getting over as I do it, you don't have to go up that high to get a workout out of it, because the whole time you're on the wall, you're sort of like holding yourself on the wall, you know? So yeah, it's really good fun. It's like an adult playground, you know?
It's one of those things I think I've spent about 10 years saying, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to give that a go.
Yeah.
And never have.
Oh, it's well worth it. I bought myself a chalk bag and some chalk and everything. I have. I bought myself a chalk bag and some chalk.
Amazing. Straight in.
Oh yeah. It's
all the
really,
gear, classic
really
Amy.
good fun. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I recommend it. Obviously the only thing is you've got to be super careful, because it's really easy to fall off and like sprain something and pull something. So yeah, with running, I'm just overly cautious because I don't want to like fall off a bouldering. The funny thing is, that was it. The funny thing is as well, is I wanted to track it as like a workout, but my watch doesn't do indoor bouldering. It only does climbing. I think it means like outdoor climbing. So I just tracked it because I wanted to just have like a track that I was doing my strength workout. And so yeah, it tracked it. It uploaded to Strava as a hike, and it's just me going back and forth in this building. And then it uploaded to Training Peaks, which is what Gemma, my coach, sees. It uploaded to Training Peaks as mountaineering. And
Nice.
I bet Gemma was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
You're mountaineering in a building.
Yeah, I was mountaineering, so I quickly had to change it to indoor bouldering so people didn't think I was like hiking in a building or up Everest, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's been me.
Nice.
How's your last couple of weeks been?
Vaguely chalk related is that there was a race near me very recently, and I didn't want to run it, but I wanted to go and support it, so I bought a load of road chalks like that kids use, Me and a friend went out for like 2 miles on the course, just writing shit on the course. It wasn't too abusive actually. We were quite well behaved, but it was really good fun. I hope it's one of those things that becomes a thing for this race, because it's all like this closed road on a forest drive, and it's only like, it's private anyway. And it's like lovely, nice new black tarmac road as well. So it's perfect just to draw all over. So hopefully it's going to be one of the things I do next year. The worst thing about it though is I was looking at all like the Facebook comments for the event afterwards, and I didn't see anyone like mentioning it specifically. And so that was quite annoying, because that's obviously the main reason I did it. I really wanted people to be like, oh my god, it was so amazing to see all the things written on the course. That was great. It really made. No, I don't think I saw any of that from anyone I didn't know. So. That was a little frustrating. So that's a shame, because what's the point in doing this kind of thing if you don't get attention for it? Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I am now officially one of the Fast Boys. I'm not sure if I might be too good for this podcast now. We might have to have a discussion about what makes a runner too good for this podcast. But I might be there now. After 12 years of running, at 39 years old, I've got my sub 20 5k. I ran 19:58 at the Podium 5k in Cardiff. The standard of this race was mental. I ran 19:58. I was 9th last.
Oh my god! Can anyone enter it? Could I have entered it?
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think. When I entered, there was nothing specific about cut-offs as far as I know. There was different races, different grades of races. There was a couple of elite races, men's and women's elite races, an A race and a B race, and they were scheduled half an hour apart. But I can't remember anything specifically about cut-off times. But in the end, the last runner I think was 22:53 in the B race. So the worst runner there was 22:53. Like the last man was 21:27. A guy from my club who ran a massive PB, 21:27 last place, and it's so bizarre. And I didn't feel like I was last place because I wasn't looking behind me at any point, but I just didn't realize until I saw the results that wow, that's what it is. And it's a really great race. It was great to watch then, because I did the B race, then we could watch the A race, and then we could watch the 2 elite races, and it was amazing to be in like your local park and watch what they were calling the fastest 5k in the UK. That was really, really good to watch. But yeah, I feel like they probably could do a bit more work advertising for runners between 20 and 25 minutes. I'd say probably 25 minutes, because I say the races are half an hour apart, so you don't want to be too much over that. But they could do a bit of work to get more people there. For no other reason then, if they get another 50 people in, that's another 600 quid that they've earned. So why not? Because it was only £12, which I think was pretty good as well. And the best thing about it is this race had full live streaming and commentary. So you could go on YouTube and watch this whole event live. I got back a few days later and watched the whole thing back. And it's just great to see like a race in the park that I was doing with a guy commentating on. And clearly looking out for club vests and then looking at Power of 10 and being like, oh, we can see this guy here from Aberdare Valley ran a fantastic 4-miler last week. And, so we know he's got that 4-mile pace. Let's see how he converts that to 5K and all that kind of stuff. Like, no idea who this guy is, but I just love that there is like professional standard quality a commentary on just a race in the park. And I know this is kind of a high level race in theory, but I would love to see that. I would love, as all this stuff becomes cheaper and easier to do in years to come, I would love like a little fell race to have a drone following you and like someone commentating on the race and to be able to watch it back. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that. If any race organisers out there want to step up their game, it's probably quite an expensive investment to make, but yeah, it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Now, and that's the thing now with this 20 minutes. Is that one and done? Is that me done now for 20 minutes? It may well be. Who knows? I had to work very, very hard for that because I knew I had a few seconds getting over the line. So when I was kind of getting towards the finish line, I was watching the clock count up towards 20 minutes. And so I just knew I had to just like grit my teeth and sprint for it and hope I'd actually get in under 20 because, we've got some stories to come about people running in and around 20 minutes. So yeah, one of the Fast Boys now. Fantastic. Love that. I then followed that, which wasn't a good idea, 2 days later by a fell race up a mountain. And it turns out that was hard work. It was quicker than the last time I did it. Last time I did this race was 8 years ago. But I think I was actually slower going up the mountain than I was 8 years ago when I wasn't nowhere near as fit. But I was 3.5 minutes quicker coming down the hill because that's the bit I can do. That's the bit I'm good at. But I really felt that 5K in my legs going up the hill. And it's taken me like over a week to get over those 2 races. Like getting over the marathon, piece of piss, no problem. 2 fast races in 3 days. Oh my God, I'm getting too old for this shit. Can't be doing that anymore. I don't think. That was really, really rough. I still feel a bit shit like a week later.
Oh my God.
Other worst thing about this race, a club mate of mine went the wrong way, went 300 metres down a lane, and then had to run back. So I had about 600 metres on. And I just got to the start of the main hill, and I heard someone running behind me and thinking, what on earth? Someone is running way too fast behind me. And he came past being like, I went the wrong way. And so, I was probably a good 5 minutes behind the leader at this point. And he caught that person, overtook them right at the end, and bloody won the thing.
Oh my God.
Adding on 6 minutes. And he finished 9 minutes ahead of me in
That's
like
crazy.
a 40-minute race or something, 45-minute race. So it's just, So some people are too talented, and it's horrible, and I don't like it. But of course, I am getting to that ability and that standard myself now. So people start hating me for the same thing. Loads going on. Yeah, it's been a good few weeks of racing. If you want to support this podcast and you want to support me going fast, and Amy, because we're both fast runners now. We're both proper fast, serious runners now. So please keep funding that. You can go to patreon.com/runningisbullshit, and you can donate money every month if you want. New to the list this month is Katie. Thanks, Katie. Here's everyone that gave us money.
Gregory C. Tom Alcott Lee Wood, Graham Hackland, Spencer Aldred, Neil Denton, David Teetle, Norms Dawson, Jay Stewart Stevens, Nikki Genders, Clark Gilmore, Cherie Grubbs, Bernadette McCarthy, Kiara Evans, Sophie Jacks, Cherie Kinnison, Carl Fleming. Aaron Shaw, Karen Milligan, H.P. Mark Willis, Martin Kelsey, Gabriel Thomas Naya, Victoria Cousins, Matt Burrows, Tony Howes, Bill B, Debbie Hurley, Bruce Perkins. Rachel Bullmore, Dawn Shepherd, Victoria Dick, Kel Ryder, Richard Skyme, Ian Hales, Raymond Quinn, Sophie Nichols, Ian Thompson, Adam Baker, Jay Howells, Claire Dina, Len Martin, Symbolic, Adam, Matt Newbury, Katie, Elliot Line, Victoria Magnus. Ivor Hewitt, Brian Simpson, Matt Connor, Elizabeth Chaban, Annie Nicol, Cheryl Curran, Lisa Gibbon, Matt Jazowski, Liz Reese, Daniel Braun, AP Pennison from Karen Hamilton, and Laurie Hind in Lewin.
So don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. You can just search Running is BS and let us know why you particularly hate running this week. On the subject of PBs, Anthony Howe says, I crossed the line as my watch changed to 20, waited ages for the results and got 1959 and a North Wales Athletics bronze in my age group. And he says the good ones must have been elsewhere. Doesn't matter. You can only beat what's put in front of you. Good for you.
Exactly.
But he says not got anywhere near since. Oh, that's the thing I fear. Oh, that's a real worry.
One and done.
Doing it what? I mean, you know, you've done it. At least you've done it. You've done that kind of goal. And like for me, I've probably been aiming for this. I think I first set that as a target maybe 8 years ago to run under 20 minutes. And I haven't been anywhere near for a long time. But yeah, it's quite nice to do that. I think at my fairly advanced age as well.
It can be on your Instagram bio forever.
That's true, yeah. If I was that type of twat, I would.
Charlie Pierce says, people stopping dead in front of you just before the finish line, giving you a PB to this day of 20:01 is BS. Oh.
There were so many people replying to that saying, absolutely shoulder check a bitch in that situation.
Yeah.
You imagine getting towards the line, having a look at your watch and seeing it tick up towards 20 and someone just stops. And you, that's horrible.
That reminds me of when I was at club, one of our club mates, we were doing, I think it was the Cardiff Bay 10K, or it was something, it was Cardiff Bay 10K. And towards the end of the race, she was behind these women. And as they approached the finish line, these women all held hands to cross the finish line and get like pitch across the finish line. So in the pictures of our club mate, you can see her just pushing through these women,
yes.
like, no! Like pushing her way through them, holding hands. They were basically creating like a human barrier to the finish line.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So I think she was running like full power, like sprinting to the finish line, just
fucking
pushed her
right.
way through. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know you want to get your photo. I'm sure you're very proud of, running the 10K, but come on, it's still a race.
Oh, I saw the pictures, and there must have been 5 or 6 of these women all just in a row, like holding hands.
Yeah, come on, it's still a race. Get out of the damn way. Oh, yeah, they would have been knocked down for sure. Oh, but Charlie's PB is still 20:01. Oh, God. Brutal. We had an email from Elle Druitt, who has been looking at PBs recently. She said, I had to email you regarding my running is bullshit at today's CDF 10K. She said, I thought I'd try and beat my 10K PB, which I've had since 2019. It's currently 1 hour, 8 minutes exactly, so my target was to run anything that was 1 hour 7. I'm currently using a paid-for running app for my marathon training, and I put this race in as a B event with my target time. So today, as I'm waiting in the pen, I set my watch to today's suggested run, which was giving me a target pace of 15 to 16 minute miles, which I knew was too slow, so I skipped the workout. I thought, it's okay, the training runs in the week had me doing intervals at 10k pace, so I know roughly what I should be doing. I'll be fine. No, I wasn't. So most of the way around, I was keeping what I thought was my target pace until about 9k, which is when I realised I was going to be off. I then decided I couldn't be bothered and just got to the end, finishing 5 minutes off my target time. To make matters worse, I've unlocked a new place to chafe, under my boobs. Result is, I'm going to have to try and find a new sports bra that doesn't chafe and is supportive before my marathon in 7 weeks. That's from Elle. Yeah, from my understanding, that just doesn't really exist.
No. You just suffer. To be a woman is to suffer. That sucks though. Like 5 minutes.
There's a lesson there of don't trust your watch too much. You've got to do your work beforehand. You should know what your pace is exactly. And yeah, you can't trust the watch. Again, especially in a race, you can't trust the average pace because it might be wrong. When you're running in a big crowd of people through tall buildings, reasonably tall in Cardiff anyway. I've seen quite a lot of people's Stravas actually, as they go through the centre of Cardiff, it's very, very wobbly. So you can't be trusting the average pace. You've got to know what you're hitting at every kilometre marker or mile marker, depending on what they have. You've got to know that. That's what I did for my 5k. I knew, well, for me it was really easy because it was just 4 minutes, and so that's easy maths. But yeah, you've got to know. You can't be trusting that average pace. But that's so frustrating to get to 9k thinking, yeah, I'm doing it, and then you're like, shit, no, not going to happen.
I always used to, when I used to try and run for time and like get PBs and stuff like that, I always used to look back and think, if I'd only run a minute faster for each mile, I would have done this. Like, that's so
just as easy as that.
Yeah, just a minute faster. What was I
If
doing?
I hadn't have slowed down by so much, I would have actually done it. Well, sure, my heart rate was 190, but I probably could have run a bit quicker.
Yeah. Sherry Griff says, I sign up every year for the Run Denver series and appreciate that they don't do t-shirts every race. I don't ever wear their hats or mittens, and their socks are always too big. Do you get all this stuff every year? So not sure it's all that special compared to t-shirts. They once gave a travel mug that I use every day. I cut the toe off the socks and use them for arm warmers. I keep the hats and mittens in the car and pass them to homeless people. I think that's a nice idea.
That is lovely.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I like that. Like hats. I think if you're rotating it a bit, hats one year, mittens another, socks.
Race mittens. That's if it's got to be a really cold race. It's got to be a proper winter race. But
Denver
for
gets
race
cold.
mittens,
Are we talking about
amazing.
Denver? Are we talking about Denver in the US, or is this like a Denver?
well, yeah, I would assume so. I don't think there's any others.
I don't know. Well, they're usually named after somewhere from, cities in America usually named. It could be like, Denver in the UK that we've never heard of, some village. But yeah, I was when I read this, I was a big fan of a travel mug. I haven't had a travel mug yet, but they are so useful. I love me a travel mug, especially now we're all sort of cutting down on getting like reusable cups when we get a coffee from a coffee shop. I think a good travel mug, yeah, I'm a big fan.
There is a Denver in Norfolk, as it turns out.
See, I told you. They're always named after somewhere else. I want to double check. So I'm like, it's going to be cold in Denver. It's like, actually, it's Norfolk.
Still could be. It's very flat. The wind whips across there quite a lot. But yeah, I love the idea of race mittens. Wonderful. We've got a couple for the injury list. And PFM Coaching, actually, Stephen James, he had to bail out on the Wales Coast Path attempt because of a skin reaction that he thought was from the ridiculous amount of raw sewage he had to run through on the tidal stretches. Turned out to be a reaction to the tape he's used for years. So this was on his feet and on his shoulders and his waist. God. Everywhere they'd used this tape, which had been absolutely fine forever, all of a sudden started giving him a reaction. So he had to bail out. Hadn't even got round Anglesey for his Wales Coast Path attempt, which is... Oh, that's rough.
I mean, I'd rather bail out early and find that out early than get right to the end and then have to bail out.
You don't want to do 2 weeks and then feel like you've thrown away 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But also, ew, like raw sewage, that's pretty minging.
Yeah, nasty.
Gross. Oh, God. Erica Varys Doggett says, recurring quad tendinitis. Jesus. Even after the PT. Even after PT, after it went away and everything seemed fine. And then one tiny race and the ache came back, angry face. Also the BS of being in the States and running out of money for continued PT. So today has to be my last session even though the problem has not been resolved, sad face.
Yeah, one tiny race. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, but I don't know about other countries, but we often have to pay for PT in the UK as well.
Yeah, it's not. So. I know of a few people that have got a little bit of PT or like physio on their work insurance, but not many.
Oh, if you want to do like the NHS, you have to be referred by a doctor. It takes bloody years. You can't choose the PT usually, can you?
Yeah,
like,
and I think that's for. It probably has to be a lot more serious than that. I don't think just like a niggly sports injury, you're not going to get anywhere near at the NHS. Oh, your
doctor will just say stop running. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean they're probably not wrong to be fair.
Yeah.
We can trust him in that one.
That sucks though.
Claire Davis says park runs in prisons are bullshit. Did one last weekend and 8 laps of concrete running and my knee is busted.
What?
Matt Garner replied to this and says, well, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Well, that's what you get, Claire. You shouldn't be in prison, should you?
What?
That is part of your punishment. That is part of your rehabilitation, that one day you can work hard, get out of prison, and you can go to a nice grass park run.
God, isn't Claire one of our Patreons? Is Claire one of our Patreons?
I don't know. Who knows where that money's coming from?
Careful she doesn't order a multifunctional neck tube, or she might be using it for a very specific function in prison. Yeah,
I will be sure when I write out those addresses.
Yeah. If it's like HMP, you gotta...
that is usually a giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah. Karen Blaze said, not sure if this helps, but I got stung on the arse by a wasp while out running today. Stay safe out there. Ooh.
I don't know why Karen Blaze thought we wouldn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
That is like the perfect piece of content. Went out for a run, got stung by a wasp on the arse. All of those things are funny.
Yeah, love it.
Perfect content. We got another email here. This is from Nicky Jones. He says, hi, I ran my first ever 10k in 2018 at a small local annual event raising funds for Church Roof in Marsworth called the Marsworth 10k. Having only previously run up park runs, I was surprised to cross the finish line and immediately have a gold medal placed over my head. As I recovered, legs wobbling, as it was the first time I'd ever actually run the distance, I realised the medal was gold foil with chocolate inside, so I scoffed it. Entered again the following year, got identical medal, Didn't eat it this time, as I thought it was probably from the same batch and therefore out of date. I've kept it along with the other medals I've since acquired. However, at least an edible medal is useful. Think more should be. Oh, I don't think I like chocolate medals for races. I think it's just because the chocolate's really shit. And I don't know. There's something a bit school sports day about it to me.
But they're keeping the medals. They've kept the medal. Isn't that going to melt at some point potentially if we have a heat wave or? Yeah,
it could. Well, the thing is, the type of chocolate you get in these, I don't think they really melt, do they?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it might last.
And also, forever. I don't think this type of chocolate probably can't go off either, so you should be fine. If you ever do get desperate, you can resort to it.
Yes. David Irwin says, waiting for ages to get a bus back to the car park after a race, standing for too long on your knackered feet, then finding the supporters are loud and drunk at the back of the bus.
Ooh,
what?
Naughty.
What support? Like the supporters that came for the race are loud and drunk at the back of the bus.
all the ultras at the back of the bus.
Yeah,
having a great time. Got the tins in.
Like what? I've never come across that. Like supporters getting really pissed and just.
That's quite funny though. Yeah. I think perhaps. Again, live streaming commentary, but also more supporters just absolutely going for it would be great.
Yeah, with the big flags and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this was the King Offersdyke race, who I read this week as well, had 2 noise complaints from residents and a campsite in the area, where the crew and supporters were specifically told to not go or make any noise. And just, a little note, respect the fucking rules. Like, there was a whole guidebook with this and said, do not go to this village, do not go to this campsite, because we don't want to disturb the residents, we don't want to get kicked out of there. And in the end they got a couple of noise complaints from people who just they thought, fuck it, ignore it. I think like if that is your crew, if you're running and that's your crew doing it, people come for you, I think you should be able to be disqualified for that.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not directly your fault, but I think it's partly your responsibility to tell them and to let them know, what's what. Because if they're just like out there to support you, they probably don't know much about it. I think it's on you to make sure they know the rules.
Yeah, you brought them along. It's like an out of control dog, isn't it? That's your fault.
Yeah, it's still your responsibility.
Keep your supporters on a lead.
Next up, slightly nervous about this one. Possibly the greatest screenshot in Strava history. It just says morning walk, 2.35 miles, 1 hour 21. Description: Auschwitz concentration camp, with photos added to the post.
Oh my god!
18 people gave kudos, apparently.
2 comments. I wonder what those comments were. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
I mean, I don't feel like I need to say this is a bad thing. I know, look, you got to get your walk in, but you don't put that on Strava with photos. Come on, please don't do that.
Like, obviously people go and post pictures, and I think that, if you can't go, it's something that's important to witness and understand. So I see why people might take pictures to share, but it's the same thing as when like somebody's like stood posing at one of the concentration camps.
Yeah, there's been like a famous case a few years ago of a woman took, I think it was just a smiling selfie, but she got shit for that from all over the world.
Yeah,
and I think she was quite innocent, but like obviously quite unthinking. Didn't realise the impact of that. And like, there's no other context on this post. It just says morning walk, Auschwitz concentration camp. And like, yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know where we go after that.
Yeah. Just don't.
A weird thing we didn't think we'd have to say.
No. Ivor Hewitt has sent in this amazing shoe from 1986. And he says, wow, how can I have missed this? There was a Puma RS Computer running shoe in 1986. A shoe with a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk. Amazing.
Shoes that come with a floppy disk. No, the floppy disk didn't go in the shoe.
Oh,
for
okay.
your computer.
You know what? I honestly thought, but then I was like, for what reason? For what reason would the floppy disk go in the shoe? But so the ad that comes with it tells us that the shoe contains sensors to count steps, which ahead of its time, I guess, because that was a big thing for a while, wasn't it? Those little pods you put in your shoes to your cadence and stuff. And a speaker that beeps when you've run a preset distance. Again, ahead of its time. Then you can plug it into your Apple or Commodore PC, load the software from the floppy disk, and learn if the distance you've run matches your goal for the day. Basically Strava, which I'm sure was a very exciting moment. The end of the ad says it even lets you know how many calories you've burned, so pass the dessert.
That's some very 1986 marketing there.
That's like, it is like early Strava. If only there was a more convenient place to put all this shit, i.e. your wrist. I don't know.
Yeah. But like this shoe, you know those some of those like new trail shoes that have like massive heels on them that like stick out a couple of inches behind the heel. This is kind of what that looks like. It looks like a fairly kind of standard 80s Puma running shoe. It's just got a little extension on the back. And it's got these little caps you can lift up and you can plug them straight into your Commodore PC. Yeah. And yeah, it lets you know, you wanted to run 12,000 steps on that run. Let's plug it in. What did I do? 12,003. Yay! What a great moment that would have been.
I mean, it's very cool. I wonder if anything else. I am interested around that time, like what was happening in terms, because people obviously want. There was this need and want to sort of track time and distance in a way that's convenient, because obviously before you'd sort of work it out on a map somehow, like how far you were going, and then you'd go and you'd have your watch and you'd literally like think of like, okay, I've gone this far, how long did that take me, and work out from there. So I do wonder, like, were there any other shoes, were there any other early watches that were attempting to do this sort of thing, and how were they trying to do it?
Any of our really old listeners, get in touch and let us know.
Yeah.
We also got sent some Puma shoes that are literally called rule breakers because they have 3 carbon plates and are nearly an inch higher than what you're actually allowed to use in competition. Our words really can't do them justice. They are far more stupid than what you're thinking. Look up Puma rule breakers. They're really stupid. I was tempted. Did think to myself, perhaps we should buy them. It might be funny, but there's only 1,000 of them, thankfully, which means hopefully you won't see them at parkrun anytime soon.
I mean, that's if you subscribe to us on Patreon, let us know. Should we take all these shoes out of circulation?
Should we buy them all?
And burn them?
Oh, that would be funny.
It's the bullshit running news. Bum. Do you want to do this one or the next one?
So Kilian Jornet has climbed... What's he been up to recently? Well, apparently he's climbed all 82 4,000-metre alpine peaks in 19 days. And he calls it the most challenging thing I've ever done. Which, coming from him, he's the guy who's literally run to the top of Mount Everest. That's quite a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in the area around Sierra Zinal, the aim was to climb as many of the 4,000-metre summits in the Alps as possible, travelling between them solely by human power. The project was called Alpine Connections. He used a combination of trail running, mountaineering, climbing and cycling. I feel like cycling's cheating a little bit in these challenges. I don't like it. Like when people do like, somewhere around like the Highlands in Scotland, or they do, Land's End John O'Groats with doing 3 peaks on the way and they cycle between. I don't like cycling.
You're having to sit down.
It's just sitting down. It's too easy. So just to give a bit of context to what he achieved in 19 days, according to fastest known time website, the current record before this one gets ratified is 62 days. And I imagine that's one of those ones that everyone thought was absurd and unbreakable and no one would ever beat it. Mm-hmm. And he's done it in 19 because that's just Kilian Jornet doing Kilian Jornet things.
Yeah. It's insane. I don't have anything else to say. It's amazing, like, all the skills he has as well. And he's literally, like, I can appreciate this now because I go indoor bouldering. Yeah, but when he's, like, literally climbing up a mountain, like I would see his Instagram posts sometimes and he's like literally like climbing up the side of a mountain. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
And gets to the top and runs across like a 3-inch ridge.
Yeah. Insane. Absolutely
Weird.
Insane. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got quite an ironic... It's one of those stories where you gotta laugh or else you'd cry sort of thing. And I'm sure lots of people have seen this already on Instagram. So, ironically, Ailsa Patterson, who campaigns for races, particularly major marathons, to offer pregnancy deferrals, has had her picture used to market the Big Half, which is has the same parent company as London Marathon, which does not offer deferrals, refunds, or transfers for pregnant or postpartum women. Even more ironically, she was 13 months postpartum in the photo that the Big Half used, and couldn't take part in the race this year on account of being 7 months pregnant. And to add insult to injury, she had this big exchange with the big half a while ago, which she reposted on her socials, sort of to demonstrate how ridiculous this is. So she had this exchange a while ago about deferrals and offering deferrals, and part of the reason was that other companies under the same parent company, did London Marathon offer...
Yeah, like the London Marathon.
Yeah. Other companies, other big races under the same parent company offer deferrals, so why aren't the big half, you know? And basically she got this email back. You can see it on the social media, the full thing. She screenshot it. There was the usual thing of when you say to a race, this is really important in order for you to be inclusive, you really need to do this thing. So, you know, offer deferrals for pregnant postpartum women. So instead, they say, well, actually, we're really inclusive. And then they just listed all these things that they do as some sort of like scoreboard.
Here's the thing we do for wheelchair races. I'm like, okay, great, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's things like, and also it's like, you're not getting a cookie for every one of these. These things you should be doing to be inclusive anyway. It's like, oh, we offer male, female, non-binary options for entries to all our mass races. What was the other thing as well? It was, Rainbow Row on the London Marathon route to celebrate the LGBTQIA plus community. It's like...
So in a different race?
Okay, but yeah...
So you do something for different people in a different race?
But what has that got to do with being pregnant and getting deferrals?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't get, like, oh, that's okay then. You've done Rainbow Row, so that's okay. Like, what are you talking about?
And they give support about training for during Ramadan as well, so that really helps pregnant runners as well, doesn't it?
Like, what are you on about? Like, what... Oh, yeah. Oh, and women's hour with extensive range of speakers at the running show. Great. Okay. Lovely.
So another different event.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but these races cost a lot of money and people are not able to run them because they get pregnant or they've just been pregnant. And yeah, it's just, I hate it. I hate when organisations do this. It's like you challenge them on something. It's like, but look what we're doing. Look what we're already doing. It's like, yeah, because a lot of these things aren't really costing you much money, you know, and you won't have to take the hit that you would take to your profits if you agreed to do this thing that you should be doing. Having Rainbow Row probably doesn't cost a lot of money. Having free like sanitary products probably doesn't cost that much money. Breastfeeding areas probably doesn't cost that much money. You know, you're not actually putting that much effort in or putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I think as with anything like this, it's the kind of thing you need to vote with your wallet. And if that is something in your potential near future, you need to be checking the rules of races that you're signing up to. If that's something that could happen in the next few years, have a look in those terms and conditions that no one overlooks that and see if they're able to, you know, if they don't offer deferrals, might not be the race to go for.
I'm kind of like a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I wonder if they knew exactly who they were putting on their marketing material, because it just seems so, because she's quite like a figurehead in this campaign about deferrals for pregnant and women who have been pregnant recently. So I do wonder, because it's just so ironic, I do wonder whether there was somebody behind the scenes like, ha, let's do this.
Yeah, this is like when the Cardiff 10K went away, but it was replaced by the CDF 10K from the same. It's the Run for Wales, which is half owned by the London Marathon Group. Now, my club has been around since 2016 and has been called CDF Runners. CDF isn't really used that much in Cardiff. It's pretty much, I think, we're probably the biggest organisation, if you like, that actually use that as a kind of an abbreviation of Cardiff. So we were a little bit annoyed, especially when their T-shirts were the same colour as ours on the first year. And when we recently went to their website, one of our runners is on the front page, showing off the big CDF logo on their T-shirt. And I think, have they either thought, oh, we'll throw them a bit of a bone here, we'll put one of their runners on the front page to like highlight how good they are, or have they thought, oh look, that says CDF, we'll have that.
Yeah.
And that's like, that was a little annoying. Like, if their logo had been a little bit more similar to ours, they would have had an email about that to be like, sorry, excuse me.
Cease and
desist.
desist.
This is a little bit close to us, thank you.
Our lawyers will be in touch.
Yeah. We need to find some lawyers.
Anyway, Stuart, have you got any pregnant running coming up? I don't know what I'm talking about.
The segues are really... perhaps we need to work on some of these at some point. No, I've got road relays next. So it's like a 5.5k race which again I'll finish near the back for because it's a reasonably high quality race. And then I've got a good few weeks off racing, which feels like a very much a good thing. I've got quite a busy autumn winter season. It's where all the fun races start very soon. Felt races, canicross, cross country, all of those things. The mud starts soon. Don't worry, everyone. We're getting there.
No.
It's going to happen. Winter is coming and it's going to be great. How about you?
So this Saturday I am tail walking the Ridham. Just 15 miles though, just the first half. So the Ridham's 30 miles in
Easy.
wherever it is. So yeah, I'm doing the first 15 miles, which would be nice. It'd be good to get some time on feet, as they say. Over the summer, as I mentioned before, when I tail walked the Vogum, I don't really walk that much during the summer when I'm not at work. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be quite tough. But, and I was saying this before the show, the nice thing is that I think I'm doing it on my own, which of course, doing it with other people, having a good chat, all that sort of thing, lovely. But I am looking forward to the opportunity to just put an audiobook on and just walk by myself and dilly-dally around for like 5 hours or so.
Just got to hope that last runner isn't like really chatty.
Well, as I said when I did the Vogum, I don't approach the last runner unless they want me to and they make it really clear, and then I might even ignore them and pretend I can't see them. No, I'm joking.
I've got a very serious job to do. I can't possibly do it. Sorry.
But I do actually, because I'm doing the first 15 miles, I'll probably just stay out of sight of the final runner if possible, so I don't freak them out. You don't want somebody you don't want your bloody tail walker right behind you for 15
I'm imagining
miles.
you like hiding behind a tree and then scurrying to the next one and hiding behind a rock.
Yeah.
That's what you'll be doing for the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then my marathon training block starts next week. Ooh. So going to be
Amy genders with a training block.
I know.
Who thought those words would come out of your mouth?
I know. I'm going to be doing back-to-back long runs and more sessions. Oh yeah.
What a world.
I know. So this is obviously for the Mackin Trail Marathon. I sort of freaked myself out because for some reason I thought the cut-off time for it, for some reason I had 6 hours in my head, and I was like, how am I going to do, like, even if I train really hard, am I going to be able to do it in 6 hours? And I went on the website, it's 8 hours, so I think I should be alright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this bullshit, please visit runningsvs.com to see the show notes and links from this episode and the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our merch store, Patreon, and social medias. Bye!
Bye. Come on, hogweed.